To all my ladies out there, let's talk to you and explain to you how you practice at the driving range without feeling intimidated, scared, and feeling like you don't belong. I'm gonna tell you three very simple, easy steps on what you should do when you actually show up to your driving range wherever you are, indoor or outdoor, like this one that I am right here in Florida, and very lucky. Okay, you feel like everyone's staring at you, you don't know what you're doing. I'm gonna guide you, so take a deep breath and let's get started. All right, so you've gone in the pro shop, you've gotten your token or the code that they've given you, you've gotten your golf balls, which you've already seen me do, so you're all set. It's gonna be different at every driving range you go to, so do not be nervous. Once you've parked your car, I know you're gonna be anxious, your heart's gonna be pounding, and you're gonna feel like you don't belong. You just have to find a pro shop or find whoever. If you're only going to a driving range, you walk in and there'll be somebody at the entrance, and you just say, hi, can I get a bucket of balls? They'll tell you small, medium, large, and the price. Pick the ones you want. If you're very anxious, pick the small basket of 30 balls that they might have, or 25, just to start. We've taken our deep breath. We've come, we've put our golf bag down. If you have a kickstand, perfect. I have my purse here. And then tip number one, you do not need to hit every golf club in your bag. You don't need to be overwhelmed. If you haven't watched my video on the 5 golf clubs you need, at the end of this video, make sure you go and watch that. That'll really sort you out, okay? In my head right now, I'm gonna hit my pitching wedge, so you're gonna hit one wedge. You have a sand wedge, a pitching wedge, whatever you have, that is your most lofted club, and that means the one that's facing the sky the most. That is what I already have out of my bag. So I know I'm gonna hit that. The second one, that's my favorite, is my 7. It's an easy club to hit. I would highly recommend you do that as well. And your 7 iron should be longer than your wedge, as you can see. And the club face is a little bit more closed. So my wedge, it faces the sky. This one is a little bit flatter, my 7 iron. Pardon the quick interruption. If you're new to golf or if you have not downloaded my free golf starter guide, you have to go to coachshayain.com or in the description below. It'll really help you understand what your core setup and your fundamentals in golf need to look like. It is absolutely free. And make sure, if you want to join me in Greece, I'm hosting a trip this year, September 5th through the 11th. We would love to have you there. You do not need to be a very good golfer. You can be brand new and you can still join me. Again, description below or head to coachshayain.com. And back to the regular program. But before we get there, if you haven't watched the rest of the Ladies Golf Guide series, make sure at the very end you go and you watch the playlist. All of them are top notch. As always, in the comments, let me know if you have any questions. Back to our regular scheduled program. Okay, then what do I have? You can have a hybrid if you have a hybrid, or any kind of wood. I have a 3-wood over here because currently in my bag, I've forgotten my hybrid. So I have a wood, and then of course, we all want to hit the driver. So then we have the longest club in the bag, and whatever that driver is for you, you have your driver. So right now, I'm just gonna practice on 4 clubs. I'm not gonna get overwhelmed. It's not gonna be crazy. And that is my first hot tip for you. There's 14 clubs in most of your bags. Do not put that pressure on yourself. Let's start with the smallest, which will be a wedge. So I have my pitching wedge. Some of you might actually want to practice your sand and pitching wedge, just because those are really important small shots to start with. And if you haven't watched also my practice with purpose video at the driving range, I tell you step by step in that. So the first thing you're always doing is you're stretching, you're warming up, which right now I won't waste time with, but you need to warm up. Don't just start hacking at golf balls, okay? One very simple way that I like to do it, because I've already pre-stretched, is that now I will come without any balls, and I will just tell myself, Shayain, hit the grass, hit the grass. So this is part of tip number 1. You need 4 or 5 clubs, and in your warm up, you're just gonna hit the grass. You know what? That's okay. Keep hitting it. Don't be scared to really take a chunk of grass out, and that's what we're going to do. So with my sand wedge, I've hit the grass maybe like 5 times. I feel confident. I've taken my deep breath, and then I start. Tip number 2, I don't hit 20 balls with my sand wedge. So let's say you only have 25 golf balls that you have gotten from the pro shop, right? The small basket. You're going to grab five golf balls out of your basket, and you're just going to drop them in front of you. Just 5. Nothing crazy. The rest of your balls stay in there. See my 5? I'll just organize them nice and cute right over here. So your tip number 2 is, out of however many golf balls you have, divide them by the number of clubs that you have. So I have 5 clubs that I'm going to practice. I'm only going to hit 5 balls with each club. I'm going to diversify, because when you're out on the golf course, I'm not hitting every shot with my sand wedge, right? What happens is I start with my driver, then the driver gets put away. Then I hit my hybrid, right? Only one shot on the golf course. Then I have to bring an iron out. Maybe it's my 7 iron. Then I hit a 7 iron. Then I have to bring a wedge out. So the whole point in the practice is I give myself 5 balls or 6 balls. I usually like an even number. I give myself 5 or 6 golf balls, and then I hit them. And I tell myself, okay, I actually don't know how far my sand wedge goes. Perfect time to test out with these 5 balls and get the average. So I'll hit these 5 and I'll say, okay, my average sand wedge shot, not including the one that's just plopped in front of me or gone all the way to that corner. So I take the good average shots and I divide them by the balls, and then I'm like, great. So my average sand wedge is 75 yards. My average 7 iron is 122 yards, for example. That gives me a range on what my clubs are. Done a video on that as well, which I'll put the link in the description below to make sure you go watch that if you want to know how do you calculate your yardage for each one of your golf clubs. All right, so tip number 1 was only 4 or 5 clubs. Tip number 2 for you is you want 5 or 6 golf balls. That's it for each club. Remember, this practice isn't supposed to take you hours and hours. You're just warming up to understand what are your clubs doing that day. Okay, tip number 3, aiming. We have to aim. We have to pick a target out there as we are aiming at the driving range. So, couple of ways of doing this depending on where you live and what your driving range looks like. Super lucky right over here. You can see my hitting bay is giving me this beautiful palm, one single palm right in front of me. Like, it's literally dead straight. So for me, I'm gonna set everything up to that palm. I'm gonna pretend that palm is my hole, okay? That's my flag, that's the pin for me specifically. Now, do not make this mistake. I want all of you to understand what is considered your out of bounds. We're not perfect golfers. All my shots will not go to the palm. But what I don't want is I don't want them to fly super left or super right. I would like to have, let's call it, you know when your plane lands on the tarmac? Let's call it, I want a pretty decent tarmac, or in golf, what my fairway would be. So I want to give myself the option to like hit it within my goals. So I'm back here. All right, you see this kind of like tree stump on the left-hand side? Anything to the left of that for me will be out of bounds. And then let's do anything right of the single palm to the right will be out of bounds. So I'm giving myself a pretty decent fairway or tarmac to make sure my golf balls are going in there. So tip number 3 is your aim. If you don't have a target, like I very conveniently do, then super simple. You grab one of your golf clubs, you come down, you find whatever it is you want to aim at. Again, let's just use that palm tree as an example. I will grab my golf club, I will lay it flat on the ground, aiming where exactly I want to go, just like that. And if you have 2 golf clubs, I'd make the letter T. So let's grab the 7-iron, and what I will do is I will put this right in the middle, make the letter T. So now I know every time that I put my golf ball on the ground, just like this, right in the middle of the T, I'm always closing my feet, I'm opening my feet, and I'm nice and relaxed. So this is guiding me and telling me that I need to go towards that palm. My club face is also guiding me and telling me that I need to go towards that palm. And then I would hit my 5 shots. And within those 5 shots, don't forget, you still need to have your out of bounds, your inbounds, and what your fairway looks like, regardless if you have somewhere like a tee to aim at or the palm that I currently have. I really hope that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments below on if you're confused on how exactly you aim at the driving range. All of us, like when I'm back in Vancouver, I don't have a specific target necessarily every time that I can aim at. So I put my little tee down to help me with my clubs to pick a space, but I always have a fairway that I'm aiming at. Always. I always have an out of bounds and inbounds. So we've done the first 3 tips. You're all set. You're feeling confident. You kind of have an understanding of, I don't need to see the guy beside me, the girl beside me doing whatever they're doing. I am here and I'm going to do a practice with a purpose. And my practice is tip 1, grab the clubs, the ones you want to work on, 4 or 5 max. That's it. You can bring your whole bag though. Tip 2, you are going to bring 4 or 5 balls out at a time. You will not dump your whole basket of balls. You have 4 or 5, that's it. So you know exactly with this club how many golf balls you're gonna hit. Tip number 3, you're going to figure out your aim. I've showed you 2 separate ways to figure out your aim. If you have any questions, you're gonna ask me in the comments below. And the first part you're gonna say is aim, question mark, and then ask me your question so I know exactly where we're headed. Your bonus tip, okay, I have my fairway, I have my 5 golf balls. I haven't practiced in a really long time, so I'm Shayain, I'm okay, I'm gonna be kind to myself. I haven't practiced in a really long time. I will be happy if 3 out of those 5 golf balls go in my fairway, in my tarmac zone, in my landing zone. I'll be very happy. I'm gonna give myself 2 really bad shots that if they go out or if they are short or I don't hit it clean, that's fine. So you need to pick not only a target, but what is your goal? A lot of you who are gonna be perfectionists out there, because I'm a woman myself, I know, you're gonna say, I want all 5 out of 5, Coach Shayain. Why are your goals so low? It's not that my goals are low. Golf is very difficult. I have to give myself a little bit of leeway and leniency to hit bad shots because I haven't practiced in a long time. And I just have to be kind to myself. I just have to be kind, I have to be realistic, and that's my goals for my realistic game. So if you're brand spanking new, never had a lesson to golf, showing up, and you're also being very anxious and nervous about everything because everyone you think knows what they're doing, which 90% have no clue what they're doing. So just remember that. You need to be kind. Give yourself 2 out of 5. 2 out of 6. It does not mean that you are a horrible golfer. It literally just means that you're new and you're gonna work your way up. Your goals can constantly keep changing as you keep coming to the driving range. If you come to the driving range 3 to 4 times a week for 2 months, then your goal no longer can be 2 out of 6. Then you want 50%, 3 out of 6. If you can't achieve that goal, what do? You find a golf coach, you get lessons, you get your fundamentals really strong, you get your setup really set up, really like not perfect, but you understand what you're doing over top of the ball, and you have to get golf lessons. If you don't know where to find a golf coach, ask me. I will send you the link on how you find a golf coach. Or you can binge a bunch of my YouTube videos. You can ask me, you can DM me. And then don't forget, I also have golf tips at home with Coach Shayain that you can practice little movements in the kitchen as your coffee is brewing, as your tea is brewing, or if you're out and about, you're visiting somebody and you just want to make sure your little movements are getting nice and strong and solid. I have that. You also have access to me with the golf tips at home with Coach Shayain. And if you really want to take your golf game to a whole different level, then you want to join my fundamentals golf program. And that really truly is for somebody who wants to take clients out to play, wants to network on the golf course, wants to do business on the golf course. I teach you from never having touched a golf club in 6 weeks on how you say yes to every golf event, how you get invited to your next golf event, and how you take clients out and have the confidence to hold your own. So that, you can DM me, you can email me, you can send me a message in the comments below. I'll send you that information and we can set up a 15-minute call to help you understand what exactly that looks like. And if you have any questions at all, make sure, as always, ask me in the comments, email me. I'm happy to help you. But I also hope you enjoy the series that I'm currently creating for women out there. I will put all the links below. I'm gonna keep making one every week to help you out there to feel confident. If you're new, brand new, or you know what, you've been playing for a long time, but you just need a few tweaks as you're out there, I hope they help you as well. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you'll join me next week for a brand new video. See you next time.